Hello.
Hey, welcome back
to Fanatics. Brand new episode where we saw the new film G.I Joe.
Retaliation. And,
big anticipation.
Doozy. That's a doozy, that movie. But, after that, what was it, like 8 months delay or something like that?
To make it 3D.
Finally.
And edit up some scenes, I guess it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm here, by the way.
Oh, we did not introduce our guest. We're brand new guest. Not a brand new guest.
Returning.
Second brand new guest.
Yeah,
Old,
second time.
used.
John.
Yeah, I'm back.
So, thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
So, what's this film about, John?
It's a sequel to G.I Joe Rise of Cobra, which was, I don't know how old, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
2009, 4 years ago.
4 years? Yeah, it's been a while, but, sequel, kind of reboot, you don't need to see the first one to understand this. They kind of give you a little synopsis in it, but, it's following the Joes, and they kind of get betrayed by the government. All is not as it seems kind of a thing, and they explain that as it goes. And it's kind of like, retaliation. It's the subhead. They're trying to get their name cleared again, and they're trying to, save the world, essentially.
Yeah.
Just like in the show and the comics.
We got some new lead actors in it. One in particular, Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne the John Roxon, as I like to say. Plays Roadblock,
Yeah.
who is a big character in the comics and cartoons and some of the stuff.
And if people don't follow that stuff, it's the body massage guy and the PSAs and these awesome YouTube videos.
He cooks a lot, which he doesn't do in the movie.
Right.
He mentions it, but he doesn't do it.
Right.
Who else is in this movie, Jackson?
Channing Tatum. RZA from Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Can I, a couple that I know?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Two of my favorites. Ray Park plays Snake Eyes, reprises his role. One of the only returning actors.
100% stunts.
100% the best around for all action.
Jonathan Price.
Oh yeah, who did he play?
The President.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You'll recognize his
actor.
face.
Yeah.
But one of my favorites, Ray Stevenson, who played Firefly,
Yes.
a Cobra agent.
Yeah.
Who, if you haven't heard of him, he was Frank Castle in the Punisher Warzone reboot, and he's been in the Book of Eli, a few other films.
Bad guy and the other guys.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce
Willie.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Which we just
Die Hard.
This is Die Hard 5 Part 2.
Yeah. The extended edition.
Okay, so what did you guys like, and what did you not like about the acting, the writing? There's a new director who did this one, so it's kind of a different take at G.I. Joe. So,
well, personally, I don't know anything about G.I. Joe. I don't know anything about the story or the characters or anything like that. And the movie, for the first half, I was completely lost, pretty much. Like, I didn't know, any background to any of these characters or anything like that, so I was kind of confused, but...
Did you see the first one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. See, so yeah.
And I don't really plan on...
Yeah, this is a classic kind of
this
is the take of a person who didn't, and it's like a reboot sequel. Yeah.
But, the first half I was kind of lost, but the second half, it was just no one can get lost. It's a maze that's just a straight hallway, start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the writing, the dialogue? Because, you didn't see the first one, John did. The dialogue in the first one sucks almost the whole way through. A lot of bad one-liners, and I thought they kind of fixed it with this one. The Rock is just a better delivery with the one-liners, because people can totally see that, action star.
Exactly.
But, I liked that. I liked the writing a lot more in this one. I also liked the special effects a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The 3D I thought was actually pretty good. Worth checking out.
Yeah. The 3D, we saw it in 3D IMAX. And that was kind of crazy. I mean, they didn't overdo the special effects with the everything popping out at you and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a few moments where there was like swords and bullets flying at you. But it wasn't over the top, and I thought it was done well.
Yeah.
The 3D, I mean.
Yeah, definitely. What'd you like about it, not like about it?
Yeah, like I saw the first one, Rise of Cobra, and it was, everyone kind of can agree that could have been a lot better, And I'm kind of like in the middle here, like I'm sitting literally in the middle between Jackson and Matt. But like Jackson, said he didn't know anything about G.I Joe. I know a little bit, I've read a few comics, I've seen some of the show, some of the animated stuff, and I've seen the previous movie. I'm like a die-hard G.I Joe fan, but from what I saw, like I knew about characters, and I felt like some were downplayed, some were definitely like just kick-ass, like, Firefly, like some of the newcomers were really good. And, it's just a fun, action movie. Even if you're not into the series, I just thought that it was like it's just fun. You're not supposed to take it too serious.
Yeah.
I thought the special effects were good. The costumes were good.
Mm-hmm.
The one-liners, they were funny. Like some of the characters were likable. Mm-hmm. Not all of them, but some of them. And it felt like it was a good in-between campiness and realistic military. It was a good balance. It wasn't one or the other. It was somewhere in between, which I thought was very good. The post-conversion 3D, it's fine. If you like 3D, I'd say it's one of the better 3D movies you can pay for. Compared to a lot of the 3D films.
Definitely.
If you're going to pay for 3D, it would be this as opposed to, just a movie that's just layered in 3D like all these movies are.
Yeah.
But, I liked it. It was it's really good.
So, we've been talking a lot about what we like.
Mm-hmm.
What did you not like, both you guys, about this movie? Jackson goes, where to begin?
I thought some of the dialogue was, just cheesy. Like, really kind of very cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it was useless, but on the other hand, there were some times where it was constructed well. It made sense and it flowed like an actual conversation would. But, again, there were some times where, it didn't really make sense what people were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also one of my complaints. Like I like G.I. Joe a lot. I don't collect everything, but I collect what I can of it, and I read what I can and watch what I can. But for me, I think my problem with it was more of they didn't care enough to give background information on a lot of the new characters, which bothers me. And it's basically because, like, if you're gonna kind of make a reboot, you should at least sort of make us feel for the characters.
Yeah.
Like, Roadblock, the only background we really get was his family and stuff like that in the beginning.
Not really, I mean,
hardly
just
any of
his
that.
two daughters.
Yeah, really.
Is the wife there? Is she...
Yeah, exactly.
You don't
Yeah.
know.
Even at the very end.
Yeah, and then,
Doesn't make
but something that the first movie did well was it explained the ninjas, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. It explained them
Their
well.
origins
The first one did.
I was lost at that part. I was
Right.
like...
Yeah, that's the one
I know
part.
there's some sort of back and forth between these two characters, but I'm not
And like
set on it.
to keep this spoiler free, there is that part where they show flashbacks, but that's basically all explained in the previous film.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is a sequel, but it's not a full on sequel. It's not a full on reboot. It's kind of a weird movie.
And it's also hard to understand because Zartan, who is, if you haven't seen this film, but it's basic plot premise that Zartan is disguised as the president because of the nanomites that they had in the first film, which was something that Destro, or the soon-to-be Destro, was constructing.
Oh.
And he used it on this guy named Zartan, who is a master of disguise, to eventually use him as a weapon to manipulate him to like get into the.
He's basically Mystique from X-Men.
Okay, yeah.
He's a shapeshifter.
Yeah, that made sense.
Yeah.
I can definitely see
And so that whole "For He's Jolly Good Fellow" whistling tune that was used in the first movie. It's like the reoccurring that it's him kind of. But for someone that hasn't seen the film, I think they need to explain that.
Right.
Yeah.
And while they do call it a sequel, you're basically changing the whole lineup of who's in the movie. I mean, there's so many new actors in this movie, and so many that haven't returned.
Right.
That I think you need to distinguish like what's going on, kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
And Yeah, like, my cons would be kind of what you guys were saying. Some of the writing I thought was great. Like, the president was great. He was hilarious.
Yeah,
It was a satire on the American government, and, like, the one-liners are good. But some of the writing, like, some of it is shoddy, and some of it's not so great. And it is a G.I. Joe movie, so you're not supposed to expect too much, but when you're getting, like, a good and a bad, like, you could tell that in a movie, like, what's good and what's bad. And it's not going, like, it's not trying to be so bad it's good kind of a thing. It's got both. And I didn't like RZA's character.
Yeah, I didn't like his character.
I mean, I know, like, he's a kung fu sensei, and I don't know, like, it feels forced a little bit. But, just small gripes aside, those are just small things.
I mean, I thought it was a decent movie for an action movie. Like, it's not some, thinker.
They try to yank on your emotions a little bit sometimes, but it's and in the beginning a little too, but it's it's just, if you're going to see this as a popcorn movie, this is a fun movie, put on your 3D glasses, kick back, and enjoy the ride. Like, it's just more of a go have fun if you're going to see this movie.
Yeah, it's not a don't expect anything groundbreaking or
the action scenes are I will say the action scenes are shot very well though. Yeah, and I think they're a step above a lot of PG-13 action scenes.
Yeah, which is funny because the director changed directors. It's the director of Step Up movies, the first couple Step Up movies.
Oh, really?
And but that's why I think the choreography is good in the action, because you're basically doing a dance.
John Chu is the director, and he also, might I add, directed Never Say Never, Justin Bieber film.
I didn't even know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a little fun fact.
I do want to see, from this movie moving on, if they do a sequel, which I think is a little far-fetched. Me and Matt were talking about this, to keep spoiler-free. I don't know if they'll do another one. It depends, I guess, how this one sells. I do want to see, like, just a straight-up Snake Eyes Storm Shadow movie. Just like that, like when he was joining G.I. Joe early on missions, because that would be a great balls-to-the-wall ninja action movie. It would cut out any like military gun stuff. It would just be a good like kung fu action movie.
Well, you'd have guns still because Snake Eyes does use guns, but
it'd be a kung fu movie essentially.
Yeah, and I think that'd be awesome. RZA should be in it again. I like him.
As Snake Eyes, maybe.
Ray
no, I'm not reveal at the end.
Park needs to be Snake Eyes. Ray Park is
because that's the one thing there's a lot of good action scenes with Snake Eyes, but man, I wanted to see more Snake Eyes.
I thought there were some kind of lame action scenes with Snake Eyes though.
Which one?
When
early
no
on,
spoilers, but there's a fight between Storm Shadow and and Snake Eyes in this hallway.
That was a good one.
I don't know. Storm Shadow's throwing these like ninja stars.
Yeah, it was cool.
And Snake Eyes is just shooting at him.
Yeah, that's in the preview.
What doesn't make sense is like he's just like
no,
spraying bullets, and they're not.
No, what they did, the whole thing was that he was doing was, it was going to slow-mo, and then it would go fast-mo at the end to show, like, how it was just a quick burst of shots to take them all down.
But
and how it's like, so precise. And
some of the
throws,
ninja stars that Storm Shadow was throwing, they were, like, on the same, like, general, like, area as, like, his body. I don't know how to explain this, but when Snake Eyes would shoot at the ninja stars, I would think the bullet or like shards of the ninja stars would come back.
Maybe. I don't know the physicalities of bullets. Yeah. I mean, maybe.
They may have been
deflected.
Well, I
think you're right.
Who knows, maybe they went like that, like when Storm Shadow cut them.
Yes.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But,
okay.
I mean, I like that scene particularly because it reminded me of, everyone's pretty much seen Dark Knight Rises. It was just dead silent.
Yeah, that was.
And then they picked up the music because it turned into the big clip battle, which is a highlight.
I think that, that was the highlight of the movie. I think that also another highlight of the movie was Black versus Firefly was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
There's a very reminiscent scene of like Equilibrium. If anyone's seen that, it's very just cool.
Yeah. No, the action is definitely what makes this movie worth watching, because if you don't have action, you don't have G.I. Joe for a movie.
Luckily,
and Bruce Willis is kind of a comedic relief in it too at some parts.
Comedic and also some would say badass.
Right.
He does have some,
he's the original
over the
Joe.
top part. So it was
It's a fun movie.
Score was good. I thought the score was good, but yeah, the soundtrack was okay. Like,
I liked it because I thought they mixed a good amount of orchestrated sounds with a good amount of like electronic, almost video game sounds you'd expect to hear in something like
reminiscent of dubstep too. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Like there was a drum and bass track in the beginning, which was like, very fast paced and in your face. And that was good. Too. And like then there's certain like just good electronic vibes, and it was a good blend of music.
Yeah. Well, what do you rate it, Matt?
I would give this film. Oh, this is also contributing to why I'm giving it this. I never heard of Yo Joe in the whole film, and that's always the Joe's slogan. They always say Yo Joe when they're about to do something. They
said the normal military, the oorah thing.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's not Yo Joe.
That's.
I don't remember that
I would give this film 4 Yo Joes out of 5 Yo Joes because it's good, but it's a B- for an action movie. It's lacking a little bit, but it's definitely a big step up from the first film. So check it out. It's worth watching.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's a B. It's a B movie. It's an action movie. That's what it is. It's just fun. Don't expect too much. If you like G.I Joe, the fanfare is definitely there.
Yeah, and they do stray from the comics a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. But,
I mean...
But it also does... It's a little pleasing to fans.
Right. It's not going to be, strictly 100% accurate. But, it's the best of G.I. Joe movie you can get right now. I mean, as far as live action.
Yeah.
How about you, Jackson?
Like I said, there were some parts I didn't like at all.
Mm-hmm.
There were some parts that I did like. I thought the action was pretty good, but there's something that just, I don't know, I couldn't really get into the story all that much. So I'm probably going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Decent for an action movie, for sure. But, I mean, not the best action movie either.
Yeah, definitely. I think, personally, I would have, can you imagine a movie with, these actors in it? The Rock, Ray Park as Snake Eyes, all these guys, if they made a rated R G.I. Joe movie that was, really gritty, I think that would be so much cooler, but that can't sell. You know?
Exactly.
And, I can dream all I want about that, but this is what I get, and
it's
better than the first one,
the kids come with their parents.
Right, because,
they're playing with the G.I. Joe action figures and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of stuff about this movie, and I think the perfect description for this movie is it's really like a kids movie at heart, but if you're older and you're an inner child that wants to revisit Joe, it's
I can see
because it's not too military realistic. Like I said, it's a good blend between the two.
Yeah,
but it's not like Rise of Cobra where you got little submarines flying underwater with laser beams. It's not over the top.
Yeah.
Some of it's over the top.
Some of it is. I'm not saying as over the top as the previous one.
Yeah, definitely.
So, rest assured, it's better than the first one. I know it's not saying too much, but...
It's a step in the right direction.
Right.
And knowing is half the battle. And if John M. Chu knows this, then he's going to keep improving, and it's just going to get better. So, that's what I hope. I think that's it for us today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Thanks for checking us out.
Yeah. Make sure to... like us on Facebook and
subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or
please,
hear more videos like this.
Yeah, definitely, and please spread the word because
leave us a comment.
Yeah, and leave comments.
Feedback.
Tell us how we did.
Suggestions about movies you might want to see reviewed. You can't get every single movie coming out. These guys have a budget, but a lot of movies coming out soon.
Yeah, speaking of movies coming out soon,
Please be on the Pines and Bios, anywhere.
We're going to be reviewing The Place Beyond the Pines. If we can find it. It's a limited release, and it's going to be a tough find, but we're going to do our best to see it, and we're going to review that for you. And if we don't review that, what's the next movie?
Evil Dead,
We're going to do
42.
42 or Oblivion. So it's some movies in April.
Yeah, just look up movies in April and tell us what you're most excited for, and we will try to see it and try to review it. Thanks again.
Yo Joe.